doing, people? How is life treating you? This is the latest of our Matchroom Boxing lives. This time, as you can see by the apparel, we're Matchroom Boxing USA, catching up with a lot of our stars from over the other side of the Atlantic. We got 4-weight world champ Mikey Garcia joining us shortly. We've got the WBA light heavyweight champion of the world, Dimitri Bivol. We've got the undisputed welterweight world champion Cecilia Breakhouse. We've got a little curveball with our friend Logan Paul joining us. We've got Gabe Rosado, and then we got the current internet sensation, former world heavyweight champion Joseph Parker. I hope everyone's keeping well. The weather's unbelievable, as you can tell, with a little bit of tan today in the garden. And we're going to kick off straight away. I believe Mikey Garcia is on the line. Going to try and find him. These have gone pretty smoothly so far. I won't speak too early. Mikey, if you're there, hit the chat button and we'll get you on. I've also now found out, I know it's terrible, I should have known earlier, that we get 1 hour with these things before we get kicked off. So we need to make sure we crack on. Few comments about the tan. It is real, of course. We all know over here in the UK, once it hits 20 degrees, that's it, mate. Speedo's on. Just trying to locate Mikey Garcia. Here he is. I'm in now, 4-weight world champion, Mikey Garcia. Hopefully going to be connecting right now. Champ. How are you?
Doing? I'm good. I'm good. Yourself?
Good. I'm good, mate. I'm good. Listen, you're one of the lucky ones. You were one of the people who boxed just before the quarantine. So
yes,
you're just chilling out. Now, how's life over there? What's it like?
That's good, man. Just here hanging out. Got my little one playing video games.
How's the car collection?
It's growing.
I bet it is after the last paycheck.
I bought me another car, but I'll promote it. I'll send it out once the time is right.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we've been hanging out. Like you said, it's just we were fortunate to play to be able to fight right before the whole crisis. So it's really unfortunate for all the other fighters whose fights keep getting postponed or moved. But it's just a different life now right now.
Let's talk about that last fight against Jesse Vargas. Obviously a great fight, great win for you. When we met in London, one thing I admire about you is you don't really care what weight class it is, obviously within reason, but we know that everybody seems to think your ideal weight class right now is 140. But is it just the stubbornness in you that where people say you're not a welterweight? I don't think you are a welterweight. And I think you're not a welterweight. But it's just that
I know I'm not. I know I'm not a welterweight, and I would definitely be better at a lower weight class, like 140 pounds. But I believe that my ability and my talent, and my experience will allow me to compete at the highest level, even at the 147-pound limit against the top guys. And that's why I'm deciding to stay at welterweight to try to secure big fights where I can show everybody that my talent is much greater than they've ever seen. And I think, we were able to show some of that in our last fight against Jesse Vargas. We fought a tough fight. He's a tough fighter, very determined. He came to win. He was probably the best Jesse Vargas of his career. And I was still able to take control and show that, even though he had height and reach and size advantage, I was able to overcome a lot of that. And I think I can do the same with a lot of the other top welterweights in the division.
Particularly one of those, Manny Pacquiao, obviously not the biggest welterweight. He has got huge wins on his resume at 147 pounds. We know that sort of after that fight, there was some talk. We spoke to their guys, and obviously Saudi were looking at that fight as well. Is that still the standout fight for you in the division? I think the style matchup between you two is outstanding.
Yes, I would love that opportunity to fight Manny. I think styles, make fights, and he's not a tall, lanky fighter that can complicate things like Errol Spence did. Errol Spence is a tall fighter who uses the reach very effectively and height, and he's a southpaw, which always complicates things. Manny's still a southpaw, but he's a lot smaller in size, so he's shorter in height. He doesn't have the reach like some of these other welterweights. So I think that fits much better to get an entertaining fight with me, and I think it just fits right. I mean, I remember sparring with him years ago, and I was able to fight similar in the ways to like the Morales or Marquez, boxing. And we did very well. It was only sparring session, but I felt good. I was able to time. I was able to use my jab effectively. And that's why I think that fight makes the best sense right now, to prove to everybody that I can be a world champion at the welterweight limit.
Obviously, a fight that a lot of people are talking about right now. One guy you have shared the ring with in Errol Spence, the Terence Crawford matchup. I think it's up there. I think you against Manny and Crawford against Spence, two of the best fights pound for pound that could be made right now. Obviously, you've done the 12 rounds of Errol Spence. Do you see him beating Terence Crawford? I'm asking as a fan.
Look, I think that's a very complicated fight for both, because neither one of them has faced another guy that can box effectively, that can use the height and reach, and has great ring generalship, great boxing IQ like themselves. Terence has fought some of the better fighters in the lower divisions, and lately he hasn't really had the challenges. He hasn't really been faced against anybody with top challenge. Errol is a terrific fighter. I think that would be a great matchup. It's hard to pick. It's hard to pick a winner, but that would be perfect. And then if I do a fight with Manny, I think that'd be another great matchup, like we've all talked about it. So I think those are the biggest fights at welterweight at the moment. There's a few other names that are also big fights,
Danny Garcia.
big names, but I think Danny Garcia, would be terrific. So there's a few big fights. There's a big fight.
I like you against Sean Porter as well.
I like all of them. I'm down to fight anybody. I ain't saying no to any name. As long as the timing is right, we settle on a good agreement, and I'm here for everybody.
I have to ask you as well about your former division where you won a world title as well. A fight coming up on DAZN once we get back up and running. Maurice Hooker against Regis Prograis. When me and you sat down in London, Regis was a name that was on that list as well. How do you see that fight playing out between those two?
Oh, that's a very good fight for both the guys right now. They both want to get back on top, so I'm sure they're going to be very hungry for a win, and they're going to get in the best shape possible. They know that a win brings opens doors to much bigger fights for either one of them. I actually think Regis Prograis might be the favorite on my end. I think he's solid, he's strong, and Hooker he got stopped by Jose Ramirez. So that's the only thing that kind of still in the back of my mind. Can even though it's a long time now, it's gonna be a long time by the time from the Ramirez fight. It still takes a while. Some fighters don't recover well from a stoppage. Don't come back as motivated or as sure of themselves. And that's the only question that I have about Hooker. So that's why I kind of lean towards the Regis Prograis victory.
Okay, mate. Listen, before we go, thanks for coming on with us, Mikey. Quick word out for your fans. Everybody's struggling right now, stuck indoors. Just stay positive.
Yeah. Just stay positive. Stay positive. Don't be going out for unnecessary things. It's a serious thing, man. This could be life changing. Worldwide. We never experienced anything like this. Never even imagined experiencing something like this around the world. And I was just talking to my brother yesterday, and it's kind of in a way funny, but it's serious business. When you look at things, if there's no vaccine developed soon, and this continues, who knows? I mean, we could be doing this for several years. We could have a whole new generation, of kids growing up knowing only this type of life, where everybody has to be wearing protective masks, or there's no more schools. Everything's online. Everything online, for the kids. No more playground. No more going to the theater unless you're wearing maybe a whole bodysuit or something. I mean, this could be really, really huge in the way it impacts life. So let's take care of things right now before it gets there. You know, stay home. You know, be very, very careful who you're with, not to be around groups of people, large groups of people, and try to just be patient. You know, stay calm, be patient. We do things will go back to normal.
Mikey, always a pleasure, my friend. We'll catch up soon. Look forward to the next one.
Alrighty.
Cheers,
Pleasure.
mate.
Thank you, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Mikey Garcia, top man, 4-weight world champ. Couple of questions coming in, a lot of comments. I didn't realise how much I caught the sun today. I think it might be the light. I'm not this burnt. Honestly, it's more of a Latino brown than a red lobster. A lot of other questions coming in about my old man. He's good. He's fine. I had to drop something off to him earlier. It was a bit sad because I had to drop it and he came out and gave me the wave. He had a heart attack on Sunday. He had 2 stents put in 2 blocked arteries. He's back home, obviously hoping that he hasn't contracted any coronavirus while he's been in hospital, but he seems all great, back home, resting, sleeping up. So I really appreciate the, you know, all the messages of support. So does he. He's shocked, actually. So listen, we're going to go to, I think, arguably now, in my opinion, one of the top 175 pounders in the division right now, Dimitri Bivol. This is another guy who is like, we had Demetrius Andrade on the other day. No one really wants to fight him. Dimitri, if you're standing by, press the invite button. And I've got to say as well, this is another guy who he just wants to talk English, and he's learning English, and he doesn't like to have a translator there on the phone. Just trying to find him now on my list. There he is. We're going to find out what life is like in Russia right now. We're worldwide tonight. We're worldwide. Bring you some of the pound for pound best fighters in the sport. Dimitri.
Hi, Eddie.
How are you?
Good, good. Nice to see you.
See you. Tell me firstly, obviously, we're in the UK in London. We just went to Los Angeles with Mikey Garcia. You're in Russia, I believe. How is Russia? How is life in Russia with obviously the big coronavirus and the change in the world?
Things are going worse in Russia because people most of their time stay at home. The gym is closed, restaurant closed. But I have one gym. Don't tell anyone where I can
Just
go.
for you.
Yeah.
secret gym.
Yeah.
You were going to fight in May time. So obviously for you now, it's probably going to be more like July or August. How frustrating is that to stay mentally focused and ready?
Doesn't matter for me because I'm young. I have my belt. When I see my belt, I think about I have to keep it and I have to get more belts. And this is my motivation to be in shape.
You're a great pro in that respect, Dimitri. I have to ask you, I read some interviews this week about a lot of things being commented about Canelo, and you know, obviously I speak to Vadim Kornilov nearly every day, and these guys are just dying out for you to have a major fight. We've talked about Canelo before and you moving to 168. Do you feel that 168 is realistic for your future, or do you think you can move between 68 and 75?
No, of course, I see my future in 175. But I told about I can move down to get a big fight. And I don't have a problem to make a 168 against Canelo. Why we are talking about Canelo? Because Vadim told me that he has a problem with his opponent, and I know that you and Dazon don't have a problem to make a fight for me against Canelo. It's true.
Maybe Canelo will.
Maybe
Canelo has a problem. I don't have a problem. I mean,
we have to ask him about this.
Of course, we got Billy Joe Saunders, of course. You know, who's due to fight him. He does have a hearing with the board that may take place. There's Gennady Golovkin, but certainly for you, I know that you wouldn't price yourself out with the money. You'd make sure the fight happened. You want to fight Canelo.
Yeah, of course. First of all, I wanna fight against him to make my own history, and then it's about money. Of course, we are here to earn money, but it's not my goal to get more money. No, I have enough money. I'm happy, but first of all, I have to use my skills and open my talent and to show my talent for boxing fans. This is it's make me more happy than money.
Good. I like to hear that. I have to ask you, for me, one of the best pound for pound fights in boxing is you against Artur Beterbiev. You know, he's now the unified world champion. You have the history, you know each other. He's a big puncher, exciting. You know, you've shown everything from great technical ability to punch power as well. You against Artur Beterbiev, for me, when we come back from this worldwide problem, is a fight that boxing would need. I would love to see that fight this year.
Yeah, of course, it's great fight, and it's a really tough fight for me and for him. I think because we little bit know each other, and Artur Beterbiev is the most dangerous fighter in the world, and the one of the most, because he has a power. He's really powerful, and but he has two belts, and это оправдывает риск.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
It's worth it.
Worth the risk.
Yeah.
Worth the risk.
My wife is here.
Listen, your English is outstanding, Dimitri. You know, it's fantastic, fantastic. I just want to ask you one question before we go as well about the British light heavyweights. We have two very strong light heavyweight challengers over here. We have Callum Johnson, who had a great fight with Artur Beterbiev on the floor with a left hook.
Yeah.
And another fighter that many believe is one of the top young prospects coming through in Joshua Boatzy. Are you aware of these guys?
Yeah, of course. I watch their fights. I watched many fights in light heavyweight, and of course, I think he's one of the big Joshua Boatzy, one of the big star from United Kingdom, and I think in the near future maybe we will fight. And what about Callum Johnson? Yes, he has a powerful too. Power has a power.
Maybe Boatzy fights Johnson, and then the winner fights you.
Maybe me fight against Johnson or Boatzy, and then
maybe in the UK.
Maybe, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? We can talk about it, and I'm ready to fight anywhere.
Listen, Dimitri, it's a pleasure catching up with you. Thank you for coming on. We send you our love to Russia, and we'll speak very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dimitri. Bye. Bye. Do you know what? What a classy guy. What a classy guy. Great fighter. Another guy, a bit like Demetrius Andrade, I was saying earlier, who many don't particularly want to fight him. And I feel like he really needs that breakout fight, whether that's against St. Canelo would be a dream. But for me, Dimitri Bivol against Artur Beterbiev is the fight to make. Right, we're absolutely perfect time here. And we're going to go into Cecilia Breakhouse, the First Lady, one of the reasons that boxing has exploded for the women, the undisputed world welterweight champion. She was actually due to fight on April 17th on the Regis Prograis Maurice Hooker card. She was going to be fighting Jessica McCaskill, which is a great fight. I'm just going to see if Cecilia is on the line, which she is. We're running like clockwork tonight. And we've gone London, LA, Russia, and Cecilia, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. We're going everywhere tonight. I just said we went to LA. We've been to Russia. Now we're in Big Bear. I understand.
Yes.
And if there's anywhere in the world like isolation, it's Big Bear. So you're almost always isolated up there, but now you probably don't even notice what's going on.
Well, it is quite different. Like you say, we're staying inside. We are keeping, our social distances. We are very careful with the hygiene. And our boxing training right now is shut down. So I'm just in a gym keeping my strength and conditioning up. I have a very tough fight coming up.
How do you? I spoke to someone the other day who was due to fight a couple of weeks before you. You, of course, were supposed to go April 17th. And they said that they feel like almost they need another camp when they come back from this, which I didn't really like to hear that. I understand it, but it's going to be one of those situations where right now no one knows when the return will be. I hope that your fight is rescheduled for June, certainly July. But you've almost got to stay ready and focused because that call could come any time to say, right, here's your new date. And it kind of like, if you're not ready, then it's going to put everything back.
Well, of course, when something like this happens, you have to reset. But we are fighters. We are professional boxers. This is not the first time a fight has been off for us. So what we do, we go back to the gym and we stay in shape. We stay ready. Our training changes a little bit, of course, and our daily goals and motivation change a little bit. But the main goal is still there, and it's still the fight. So when you get the call about the fight or the show is on, then you should be ready to get back to the gym and get some sparring in and be ready.
Let's talk about that fight with Jessica McCaskill. She's kind of been a bit of a revelation herself. She had a great fight with Katie Taylor at 135 pounds. Probably gave her one of her toughest fights yet. When she was really inexperienced, Jessica McCaskill came back, won a world title at 140, unified the division. Now steps up. This is a tough fight, isn't it, against McCaskill? She's very game. She's very strong, and she's definitely going to come to fight.
We both fought Farias, which is a brilliant fighter, and I actually thought Farias was going to beat Mikhalski. So Mikhalski beating Farias, a world champion, so seasoned, so good and experienced, that was a big deal. That was huge. So I think those who have followed boxing and followed women's boxing for a while, they know that this is going to be a real tough fight. And those who haven't are the ones who are saying that, this will be just a walkover, and then she'll be ready for her next challenge. And that's definitely, Mikhalski is definitely not someone you're overlooking. And I'm not doing that either.
Well, obviously at the moment, everyone's talking about future fights with Serrano and Taylor, and we'll come on to that in a minute. That's what everybody is messaging, talking about right now. I have to bring up Clarissa Shields because, she's relentless. I mean, I felt sorry for you the other day on Twitter because I know you're quite quiet. You don't really like any beef. And she's good for boxing because she doesn't stop. She's like on social media all day. She's achieved a great deal as well. But she's just, she's on you, isn't she? She is on you. She wouldn't let go the other night.
I think she has a little bit crush on
That's
me.
quite possible.
No, but what you said there, I 100% agree. Clarissa is good for boxing. She brings excitement, and she brings the fans in, and they get very caught up in the whole thing. So she is a good thing for boxing. She's still young, and she's still learning how things working out. I've been doing this for a while now, so of course I've been through a lot of ups and downs, and it's not the first time I've been in tough weather. But Clarissa, I think I pointed out to everyone why this isn't happening right now, because I'm in a foursome that is quite extraordinary. Like this mini tournament with me, Mikhalski, Katie Taylor, and Amanda Serrano. And that's something that, you know, it would take a lot to drag me away from this, to be part of this all world champion, all, you know, potential Hall of Famers. It's quite an astonishing situation right now in women boxing. And for me, starting out when we were not allowed to go to the Olympics, and yes, the whole boxing scene being quite different. I think for me, this is a little bit, it's a little bit different maybe than the girls who went to the Olympics and then went straight to the big promoters and TV screens. I think this has a little bit different meaning for me being a part of all this.
Well, of course, one of the reasons that boxing for women did move into the Olympics was Katie Taylor and her push for that and the Olympic trials and stuff like that. Her fight was due to take place on early in May, May the 2nd, with Amanda Serrano. That's now looking like July. I want you just to give me a little bit of analysis on that fight. I've watched Amanda Serrano a few times now on our shows. I think she punches very hard. She's extremely confident. A few people think that could be a tougher fight than expected for Katie Taylor.
Yes, for me, it's a totally open fight. It's 50-50. I cannot for anything pick a winner here, because they are so good with what they're doing. You know, Katie Taylor is so brilliantly technical, and she's so fast, has a great footwork. Serrano, she's strong, you know, she's relentless, and she's also a pretty good, she's also a good technical and smart fighter. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be an amazing fight, and I'm so looking forward to this fight. And then you have the winner of both these fights meeting
That's
each other.
Yeah, I mean, basically, the winner of Ewan McCaskill and the winner of Taylor Serrano is a done deal, really, isn't it? I mean, it's an absolute must. The biggest fight in women's boxing. But when you talk about your weight for that fight, obviously the fight with McCaskill is at 145, yes, and Katie won a world title at 140. She struggled to make 140, or she struggled to reach 140 rather than make it. So you think you could come down a pound or two, or around from 145 to get that on?
Yes, I don't have a problem with that at all. I'm a small welterweight, you know. I walk around as a welterweight. I shouldn't be a problem at all.
Good. And just lastly, Cecilia, obviously you were responsible for the growth of women's boxing in the professional ranks. Just incredible right now to see not only the growth of women's boxing, but also, and we know that there isn't financial parity yet between the women and the men, but we are, you know, we're really making strides, and we're getting there. And I think the mega fights are going to start seeing that big money, and you deserve it. You know, I think that I always say that in the press conferences, I don't look at it as men's boxing and women's boxing. It's just boxing. It's a TV product for fans and broadcasters. And if it's entertaining, it's entertaining. And all of the top level female fights are always entertaining.
Yeah, and I'm glad more and more come around to understand that point. You know, we have there's always been unfortunately guys who has more insecurity with themselves and more I honestly, some of the most amazing fighters and promoters who's been supporting me has been Tom Loeffler, it's been you, it's been Vladimir Klitschko. I can mention a lot of, but they, like you say, they just see a fighter. They don't see if you're a male or if you're a female. That doesn't matter to them. It doesn't. We all do it for the love of boxing, and I think, you know, it's just so weird to me that what kind of sex you're born with is that correct?
Yeah.
In English?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't say anything weird. You know, it's just that is the thing that is actually deciding what you're going to pay.
I understand. I understand. We got there in the end. I just want to say thanks for coming on, Cecilia. I wish you all the best up there in Big Bear, and we look forward to rescheduling the fight with Jessica McCaskill very soon. Thanks, Cecilia. I think I don't know if that was her internet or mine. Yes, once again, I do apologise for the extreme sunburn of sitting out in the garden all day today. Great talking to Cecilia Breakhouse. That's a great little quartet, isn't it? Cecilia Breakhouse, Jessica McCaskill, great fight when we come back. Also, Katie Taylor against Amanda Serrano, for me, the best fight in boxing right now. The winner of those two fights are going to fight the winner. Quick reply on my chat. Who wins out of those quartets? McCaskill, Breakhouse, Serrano, and Taylor. Who you got to come out on top of that fight? Now, slight curveball here with our man. Listen, I asked Logan Paul if he'd come on and give us a chat last night. I don't know if he's even going to join us or if he's going to be ready. I hope he is. We'll wait for him to join us. Waldy, if you're there, Waldy, our US social media guru. Have we heard anything from Logan Paul? Are we going to be joining him? Have a quick little look. It's not like Logan Paul to be late, to be fair. Few questions coming in. Any news on the Fight Night champion? Listen, you know the amount of times that I've been trying to speak to EA about bringing out a new game for Fight Night. Logan Paul is here and ready. We're going to watch the followers go up here. This is the art of Logan Paul coming. Watch these followers rocket up when I see the main man. Yo!
What's good, Eddie Hearn?
You looking that bad? You won't show your face or what?
I'm looking good.
That don't look like Logan Paul. I've pressed the wrong button. How we doing, mate? Nice to see you.
I'm doing good.
Thank you. Great talking to you. Well, that was a bit weird. I can't believe I've pressed the wrong button. Oh, mate. That is hilarious. I pressed the wrong button. Let's try again. Logan, where are Here he is. Right. Now, this is Logan Paul. That is hilarious.
Bro, I'm
Yo,
dead.
what's happening?
I'm dead. He goes, I pressed the wrong button.
Did you see the guy? He was like laying in bed. I was like, Logan, what's happening? Why don't you show your face? And he showed his face. It was just some random guy.
Yo, that was hilarious. Did you think that was me?
Yeah, I was thinking, who's in your bed? I mean, I've seen the rumors, but I didn't believe they were true.
Hey, that was funny, man. That was funny.
How are you, mate?
Surviving and thriving, man. How you doing?
Well, it's probably like obviously it's not a good time for anybody, but I guess as a content deliverer, someone that can create content on the fly,
Yeah.
you know, in your world, nothing really changes from a work capacity other than going out. Are you in LA right now?
Yeah, we're in LA. Yeah, man. We talked about it on the podcast. We are blessed that we have a job that doesn't require us to change much. Like all we do is shoot and record dumb shit around the house, and we're still doing that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Obviously, mad times. What's your thoughts on everything right now? I mean, like from a guy from the UK, we're watching Trump every day. Like one day it's irrelevant, it's not really that big. Next it's a national disaster. Like it just seems like total chaos right now worldwide.
No, it absolutely is. We were talking about it last night in the house, and like I was trying to think of the last event that had affected the entire planet, like everyone in the world. And I don't know, even like a world war, like not all countries were involved in that, or a horrific like terrorist attack. Some countries don't even know about it.
Isn't it? It's like normally you can get away somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like
somewhere,
you can't go anywhere. You can't fly anywhere. It's not that's safe. Go there. That's not affected by it, or it hasn't hit there. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. So like, I definitely think this will go down in the books as a very significant event in all of our lives. And I honestly just can't believe it's happening. But whatever, we're doing what we can.
We've only got 3 or 4 minutes. I want to talk a little bit of boxing, Logan, because a lot of my followers, hardcore boxing fans, we know I took a lot of heat for doing the fight. I loved it. I got to say, I loved
Yeah.
working with you in KSI. I thought the energy was amazing.
Yeah.
The press conferences were what I learned so much about your world. But I also have to have respect for you guys because you trained hard, and it was arguably the best fight of the night. You know, and it was good, and it was close. Like, we know it could have gone either way. When you look back on that experience in November last year, do you reflect on that fondly? I mean, obviously it was the second one that you've done, but how did you find it all?
I mean, the whole thing changed my life. Like, boxing changed my life. It took me out of the rut I was in after the Tokyo thing. And, like, I have to give props to you for taking the bet on two YouTubers. I think KSI and I just both happen to be crazy enough to devote quite literally all our time to try to become a boxer anyways. And yeah, man, like, for the rest of my life, boxing is now going to be like a staple of my operation. I still box to this day, and hopefully we can get together and do it again.
Is there hunger from you to do it again? Like, obviously we know that you have the ability to make money on any crazy sort of thing that you do, and we know that would generate a lot of money, another fight with you. But is there an element of one, almost like a semi-addiction to the training and the buzz, and wanting to do it again and actually get in there and win?
Yeah, I ask people, or when people ask me, like, what I think about boxing, I go, unfortunately, like, I'm addicted to it. Because it's a dangerous sport, which is why it's so exciting. And so, you know, I do have a lot of ways to make money, but boxing, it tends to be the most fun. And I have that taste in my mouth. I have that yearning to get a W. Like, I need to win one. So I'll be back.
Well, one fight that everybody knows, you know, speaking from us and DAZN and, you know, the reaction from the people is the Antonio Brown fight. Very different in that, obviously, you and KSI are two YouTubers, the biggest in what you do. But this fight, just reaching out to a new audience, of course, you know, American football fans, which is a huge, huge number.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the Antonio Brown fight? I mean, we spoke to him, we spoke to his people. We wanted a crazy amount of money, you know. Are you motivated by that fight? Do you think that that's an interesting fight for you because you don't like that anymore?
Nah, I was for a bit, and then I realized, like, Antonio Brown's just clinging onto my name to get some clout for a second while he tries to figure out his life. And when I realized that he's actually not interested in fighting me, probably because he doesn't want to lose, and I'm confident that I'd beat the shit out of him, I kind of backed off.
Two more questions. One is, we know you have a wrestling background, right?
Yeah.
And I would actually like to move into MMA myself. Definitely not doing it, but promoting it. Can we do something? Let's launch Matchroom USA in MMA, Logan Paul in MMA. Is there an MMA fight in you as well? And do you think that that's actually you'd probably be underrated in that discipline because of your background?
That's my secret, bro. I mean, that's my shit. I need to do one MMA fight before I die, and I'd love to do it with Matchroom Boxing or Matchroom MMA is
whatever you want to call it. Matchroom Paul. You know.
Matchroom Paul, amazing. Yeah, yeah. I have to do one. We just gotta find the.
We saw your brother. He tore apart Anderson Gibb in Miami. Was, as they say in the sport, easy work, light work. KSI Jake Paul. Is that? I mean, something you guys want to see? I get messages about it all the time, and actually, I think he may go into that fight as a favourite as well. Do you think there's a chance that fight happens?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It's on JJ. Like, I don't know what he's doing, what he's planning on doing. I know he's making music right now, and you know, Jake wants to do it. I think it'd be a great fight. I also think Jake would take the W on that one, but it just depends if KSI is done with boxing for good or not.
Well, mate, listen, it was a pleasure catching up with you. I really appreciate you coming on. Look forward to catching up with you and talking business when this is all over. Stay safe.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you, Eddie.
Cheers, Logan.
Thank you.
Bye, mate. Bye.
Peace, homie.
Do you know what? Right, I've got to say, I really like Logan Paul. I think, like, I've spent a lot of time with him now. When I met him, I have to be honest with you, I thought, this geezer's not sure about this guy. He's super bright. He's a decent guy. And he's always working. He's always thinking. I like Logan Paul. I really do. And I think I'm going to give him an MMA fight, to be honest with you. Anyway, we're going to move on. We're doing unbelievable on time right now. Unbelievable. This is like clockwork. We're going to go to Gabe Rosado now. One guy who was giving us entertaining fight after entertaining fight. We had Danny Jacobs on recently, giving a little bit of beef off about Mr. Rosado. And we're going to try and find Gabe Rosado in the house. He's going to be over in LA as well. Okay, Gabe Rosado. Gabe Rosado. Here he is. We're all good. We're like cop. We've got Gabe Rosado, then with Joseph Parker, and then we're done. We are done. Yo,
What's up?
how we doing, boss?
Good, man. Chilling.
LA? Philly?
No, man, I'm in LA.
And how's quarantine treating you?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. My time schedule's all messed up. I'm used to getting up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm getting up like at 11,
I know.
12.
So am I. I've been doing the same thing.
Yeah.
How's
It's
that
crazy.
gym down? How's the gym down there? How's it been for business? Because obviously it's crippling for so many businesses. But you've just started up a great new gym in LA. You were flying.
Yeah.
I saw all your social media stuff. It was packed all the time.
No,
Typical,
the
right?
gym, the gym, man, it was doing great. I mean, right now it's on hold, but it was doing great, man. You know, staying busy with it. It's one of those gyms where it's not really for boxers. It's more just the average folks that just get off from work, come to the gym. So it's dope.
Last time out was, I think, forgettable. In that,
Yeah.
for the people who don't know, basically, Gabe was standing by to fight Danny Jacobs because Julio Cesar Chavez is fucking crazy as shit. Right?
Yeah.
So we always felt that actually Danny Jacobs would probably end up fighting Gabe Rosado. So Gabe was standing by. He was going to have a little 8-rounder on the card just in case he didn't fight Danny Jacobs. Anyway, somehow, some way, Julio Cesar Chavez finds his way into the fight. So Gabe's in not much of a fight.
Not, and he paid an extra $1 million.
Not me. Chavez did.
Yeah.
So then I'm going to get Gabe on early, right? So Gabe comes to me, says, "Listen, why am I on so early?" I said, "Well, listen, there's such a packed card. You're in an 8-rounder. What I could do is we could float
I was actually
you,
a 10-rounder.
10-rounder. I could float you, and we'll fit you in. There's going to be stoppages, blah blah blah. Anyway, of course, there isn't really a lot of stoppages, and Gabe sits there for about 6 hours waiting to fight. Danny Jacobs goes out. The madness ensues. The beers come flying in the ring. Like the whole ring is covered in Tecate, right?
Yeah.
And the commission say to me, "No, we're done for the night." Gabe's sitting there. I think by then, but even by that point, you were like, "Do you know what? Maybe I'll just go home."
Yeah.
I said to the commission, "Listen, give it 5 minutes. Let Gabe fight. You know, he's been training, and I wanted you to have the win to get the win to come back because we know we're talking about world championship fight."
Yeah.
Anyway, you go out there. There was about 20 people there. Everyone's gone. And I'm doing the media backstage and I'm popping out and watching. It goes the 8 rounds. And I see you coming back. And I was just like, oh, no. And you're like, "Yo, Eddie, what the fuck, man?" Yeah. I was like, "Mate, I just got to go and see someone. Wait a minute." But listen, I was pleased that you got out and got the win. You needed that win on your record coming off the Sulecki defeat. But we want to talk that you've given unbelievable entertainment over the years. We feel like you still have a lot left in the sport. I want to go straight into the Daniel Jacobs question. Firstly, where does that beef come from? I saw something with you two on an escalator ages ago, but you two aren't like massive on beef. Do you know what I mean? Like Danny, I never really see Danny lose his head. The other night, I gave him the list of all the world champions at 68, and he says he wants to fight you.
Yeah.
So where does this come from?
I think it comes from with 2 East Coast guys. He's from Brooklyn. I'm from Philly. And me and him were supposed to fight years ago. It was way back from when I fought Peter Quillen for the world title, which was a fight I was winning and got stopped on cuts at the end. He was up to fight the winner. And then it kind of just stirred from there, where we were supposed to fight and it never happened. And then I said some things about him that he didn't like on, I called him a bootleg Andre Ward. He didn't like that. And then, so he threw shots back, and then that's just where it came from. But, I've been calling him out, been wanting to fight. I think the fight is huge just in boxing period, but especially if it was in the East Coast, being he's from Brooklyn. I've headlined in Brooklyn and in Madison Square Garden, so I have a big fan base in his hometown. So it's just
Well,
one of
listen,
those fights that
all we
should
could do it
happen.
in Philly. I spoke to him the other day. He said he was
Oh
happy
yeah.
to come to Philly as well.
Well,
Great
you
atmosphere
saw
last
the
time.
crowd was selecting.
Oh man,
It was
that was
nuts.
unbelievable. That was one of my favourite fights
Yeah.
of the year. You and Selecki. The atmosphere was
Yeah.
unbelievable. But I agree. I think you against Danny Jacobs in New York or in Philadelphia goes
Oh,
well.
for sure.
You confident in that fight? I mean, look, he's a two-time world champion. Moved to 168. You're not really a 168, Gabe, but like he's moving there. You know.
Yeah. Here's the funny thing. Me and Jacobs, we did a camp years ago in Poconos, in the Poconos in PA, and you know, I kind of see his style. I've seen him throughout the years. I feel like, especially now, I'm with Freddie Roach now. Freddie Roach is just we had a great camp. We were preparing as if we were fighting Jacobs, thinking that Chavez would come out. So we had a great camp. Great sparring. I feel great at 68. I feel a lot stronger at 68 now that I don't have to cut down. You know, I walk around like 85. So for me to get down to 60, it takes a lot of work. So I like my chances with anyone at 68 right now. At 68 is loaded. So you got Smith, you got Saunders, and you know, you got Canelo, everybody, man. So I think with Freddie Roach, man, we're ready for whoever at the division.
You've been around boxing, you know boxing inside out. When we talk about that 68 division and we look at the champions, I'm going to give you those 4 world champions: Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, Benavidez, and Caleb Plant. Starting with number 4, the weakest, I want you to rank those 4 champions for me. And don't sit on the bench.
This is going so I would say number 4, because he's inconsistent, is Saunders.
Okay.
Saunders is the most beatable out of all of them because he's inconsistent and he's just everywhere. And this is a you know, I would put Saunders 4. I would put Plant 3.
Yeah.
Even though I like Plant a lot, but he hasn't fought, you know, really a big name. Then I'll put Benavidez, and then I would put Smith.
Smith number 1.
Yeah, I really wouldn't consider Canelo the top guy because Canelo's holding the interim. And Smith holds the world title.
Yeah, 2 big guys. Smith and Benavidez, two monsters at 68 as well. 2 massive guys. I love that fight.
Benavidez is a really good fighter, but he's still young, so there's a lot of learning he has to do. But he's a good fighter. But yeah, I would put Saunders 4 just because he's very inconsistent. But Saunders has skills.
You know, he might start calling you out now if you put him number 4. He won't like that.
we were supposed to fight.
That's right. Yeah.
On the Paul fight, on the Paul card.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, it just didn't work out.
That's why we needed to get you to win. You're right. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
But
listen, so for you, hopefully we get through this soon, and we look to make that Jacobs fight on the East Coast. When we talk about your career, Gabe, you've had some amazing fights, some amazing nights, but you just keep kind of reinventing yourself. Like it's like, Rosado's done, and he comes back, gets a couple of good wins. I mean, you lost against Sulecki in a very tight fight, and in fact, if you would have started better, you would have won that fight comfortably. But what's left? What's left for Gabe Rosado? What does the future look like over the next couple of years? You've given a lot to the sport.
I think it's 4 on 15 years pro, which is crazy, right? So Bernard Hopkins says you're lucky to have 10 years. So just to have 15 is insane. But I think I'm sharp, you know, the experience, and then I think now bringing in Freddie into this next chapter, I think is going to open everything up. I think for sure we're going to surprise the 68 division. I mean, I see my goal is to win a world title against whoever it is. I think at my A game, I can definitely do it. I'm my worst enemy, honestly. Any fight that I've lost, it wasn't like I got, you know, dominated. There were fights that were close, bad decisions or cuts or things like that. So it wasn't like I was ever, you know, maybe a Golovkin fight was a fight where he definitely got the best of me. You know, it was a Golovkin in his prime. But other than that, man, I've always been in a fight. I think it's just up to me to just staying focused, staying sharp, having a good camp, and then bringing in a trainer like Freddie who pretty much controls the camp. I'm a control freak. So if you allow me to control the camp, I'm going to call the shots, and it's going to be the way I'm going to do it. With Freddie, it was my first time doing a camp with Freddie where I literally just did whatever he wanted. You know, no entourage, no nothing. It was just me and Freddie. So that was kind of like something new where I went into the fight just feeling great, you know. So it was just a different look. So I think we're gonna see Gabriel Rosado win a world title.
Good stuff.
Hopefully this year.
Well,
we'll
I
see.
think the UV Jacobs is a good chance of happening, and I think the winner of that fight has to go on and fight for a world title. So listen, it's been a pleasure having you on, my friend. Stay safe over there. We'll catch up
you
soon.
stay safe. Oh,
go.
And prayers to your father as well.
Thank you, mate. No, he's good. Oh, Daniel Jacobs has just come on and done a laughing face at you. Any last words? Any last words?
Listen, I will knock out Daniel Jacobs if the fight happens, because I can beat Daniel Jacobs. I see a lot of flaws in his game. I think he's more hyped than anything. I like the guy, but I don't think he's what they make him out to be. So I would definitely like to fight Jacobs to knock him out and do what Canelo didn't do or G didn't do. So definitely.
Okay. All right, well, I'm sure he'll respond in due course, and we'll speak soon.
All right, for sure.
Cheers, Gabe. Take care, mate.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Listen, I like Jacobs against there he is, Scrub. Oh, you missed it. I love Jacobs against Rosado, and I like it on the East Coast. I like the build up, I like the fight, I like everything. So we'll see when we're back up and running. It's a fight we'll definitely look to make. I know Danny Jacobs wants Callum Smith and other world champs. We've got one more guest. Guy at the moment has been causing waves on social media. One of the nicest guys you ever meet, one of the best heavyweights in the world, Joseph Parker. Going to try and find him. Bang, straight in. Look, his clockwork, 10-2. This guy has woken up at 6:50 in the morning in New Zealand to speak to us. Yo!
Good morning.
Is it really 6:50 a.m.?
6:50 a.m. New Zealand time.
I've got to say, I'm very impressed. I spoke to the guys yesterday. I was like, look, we've got to get Joseph Parker on. They said, well, it's going to be like 6:50 in the morning. You come back, I'll be up, I'll be ready. And how's New Zealand? We were just talking about one of the guys saying that this corona thing is obviously crazy because it's affecting every single country worldwide. There isn't anywhere that isn't affected by this. What's the procedure like over there right now? Is it lockdown? Is it self isolation? Is it social distancing?
Lockdown. I think we've been locked down since it started. I mean, we've been locked down nearly 3 weeks. I haven't even left the house, and I'm pretty lucky that I have a gym here at home. I got a treadmill and bike and weights, and so I'm keeping in shape. But New Zealand is on lockdown, and I think hopefully it passes soon. I'm eager to fight, and I've been training and keeping in shape. So,
well, you're lucky in a way, Joe, because I just said to Mikey Garcia, who we had on earlier, you were like the last card in the US.
Yeah, we were.
To get through, and with your inactivity because of your illness, if you would have missed, if we wouldn't have got that date, and you missed this, you've been now looking on to July and August. Do you know what I mean? It would have been over a year since you were out of the ring. So although you're looking to get in back as soon as possible, you have got the benefit of you didn't fight too far ago.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying to people. I think I said it was a blessing to actually fight in the beginning of the year after a slow 2019, getting a fight at the beginning of the year, and then look at what's happened. And there's a lot of cards or a lot of fights that were meant to happen. Now they're all postponed and moved. So hopefully when this passes, those fights can be take place, and then we can sort of jump on a card as soon as we can.
Let's talk about that last fight with Shaundell Winters. I thought it was a good performance. I think a lot of people underrated underrated Shaundell Winters, and I think he came to fight for sure. And once you got into your flow, I thought it was a good performance. I thought it was sharp, explosive, great finish. Were you pleased with the performance?
Yeah, listen, you're always pleased with with a win, and then you're pleased when you get a good win in incredible fashion. And I think that's what captures the attention is the knockout. So I think, like you said, once I slowed it down and sort of picked my shots, the knockout did come. So I was happy with the knockout. Very happy.
Obviously, now moving forward, I think we know. Speaking to you, speaking to Dave Higgins, we want that big fight now. It's an absolute must that your next fight is a big fight. For me, I would still love to see the fight with you and Derek Chisora. Obviously, he's going to fight Usyk. Was May 23rd. That's now postponed. Who have you got your eye on in the division right now? Of course, there's a big potential fight for you in New Zealand as well.
Yeah, there's a. I mean, what do you think? What do you think is next?
Do you know what?
As one of the best promoters in the world, what can you do?
I mean, firstly, obviously, the best promoter in the world, Joe, not one.
Oh, okay,
I think that's very important, mate. Thank you, mate. But I think that you know, I love the fight. I've got a complete mental block of your New Zealand compatriot, heavyweight, unbeaten heavyweight,
Junior Far. Yeah.
Junior Far. For me, like when we talk about the Junior Far fight, I like the Junior Far fight for New Zealand, for us to come over and do something different over there.
Yeah.
You know, we know we've been talking about launching Matchroom in New Zealand and Australia with you and Dave and all that kind of stuff. I think that's an interesting fight for New Zealand. For me, I want to move you towards a World Heavyweight Championship shot. And I think you look at the division right now, I love the fight with you and Luis Ortiz. I love the fight. I love the rematch with Dillian White.
White rematch.
White rematch. I even like the Andy Ruiz rematch, to be honest with you. You've got Hergovic, he's up there making moves. You've got Michael Hunter.
Yeah.
You know, you've got Alexander. You and Povetkin's a great fight as well. We'll see what happens.
Isn't it fair to say that there's a lot of possibilities and a lot of fights that we can make?
There is, and I think that now, when we return to boxing, every sport is going to be trying to capture the attention and the space. So if we don't come back and start making major fights, like fights people want to see, and for me, there's going to be so much congestion of fighters looking to get out. The ones that are ready to step up in the big fights, they're the ones that are going to come back ASAP. Do you know what I mean? And the heavyweight division, the heavyweight division's on fire. I would actually like to see you and Ruiz again. I know that obviously you beat him first time out, but I think that Andy Ruiz is going to be in a lot of interesting fights. You know,
I think so too. After that win with Joshua and then losing again, but hopefully, you know, he keeps in shape. And I mean, it's life changing, those fights for him. And I still think he can give a lot to the sport. I mean, sit down with Kevin, David, and you, and if it makes sense for us to fight him, we'll fight anyone.
Yeah, no, I agree. Listen, I know you're up for the big fights. I want to talk about your latest social media explosion, right? I mean, who is filming these things? Because who is cutting and editing? They're like top quality. I want to get these TV execs in my life.
My bubble is my partner, and my kids, and then my sister and my good friend Kerry Russell does the groceries for us, right? And he's the one that's filming, ideas, editing, and he also does the groceries. So he's the man behind. I call him the magic man because he's made some magic happen.
Mate, it's unbelievable. People are absolutely.
I think I asked you to jump in one of the videos.
Yeah, do you know what? I know. I should have jumped in there. I was gutted when I saw it. You had Buffer, you had Tyson Fury, and everything. When's the next one coming?
As soon as he comes up with an idea, we'll start filming again. There's nothing else to do. I mean, you're stuck at home, kids' time, training, and then we've got a lot of time to film.
Yeah, no, I agree. We'll talk about the heavyweight landscape, Joe, as well, and you're right up there. Certainly in the top 5-6 fighters as well. Couple of fights that are due to take place. I just want to get your quick opinion on them. White against Povetkin. Do you see Dillian White coming through that fight?
Yeah, I see Dillian. Isn't it sort of like the challenge of the left hooks? They both got good left hooks, and I see Dillian coming through because they're young, hungry. I think Povetkin's been around for a while, but I think he's slowing down.
Do you think Usyk is just too good for Chisora, or do you think up at that weight, Chisora is going to be a pest for him and going to cause him troubles?
I think Usyk the first fight was a good welcoming fight for him into the heavyweight division, but I see him with his the skills, and he's got a variety of punches and very technical fighter. I think he'll beat Chisora.
AJ against Pulev, good fight. Back for AJ.
Good fight.
You fancy?
I think that fight. Yeah, that fight was being promoted a while ago, right? And then Pulev obviously pulled out for some reason. So I think that fight, AJ will come on top. You know, he's always improving, getting better as a fighter as well, and as a champion.
And the Fury Wilder rematch, you see Fury same way.
I just see Fury dominating. Yeah, I think three fights. I think he won the first fight. Second fight, obviously he destroyed him, and I think the third fight will be the same result.
Well, Joe, I appreciate you coming on so early, mate. Just a quick message to everyone. We've got about 30 seconds before I get cut off for the hour. We know you're going to be back in a big fight this year. Quick message to your old fans and your new fans all around the world.
Message, thank you for the support. Hope everyone's keeping safe and keeping well. And tune in for the next videos that we're going to be planning.
We look forward to that, Joe.
Eddie might be
soon,
in them.
Oh, mate,
All
I'm ready. I'm ready this time.
All right.
Mate, it's great to talk to you. Thanks for getting up for us.
Thanks, Eddie.
Cheers, Joe. Bye, mate.
Cheers.